The pizza delivery man who delivered to his own cheating wife. He had a secret. For 6 months, he kept it perfectly. Came home tired, made excuses for the late nights, never once let it slip. He was working a second job, in secret. Not to hide something shameful, to save up for his wife's dream vacation. A surprise, something she'd always talked about, something he wanted to give her. He was the pizza delivery man. And one night, he delivered to the wrong address. The right address, actually, the worst possible one. I want you to meet this man. I don't know his name. The story came from the internet, shared by someone who knew him through a comic book shop. But the details are specific enough and painful enough that something about it has always felt true. He was married, happy, or at least he believed he was happy. The kind of man who notices when his wife mentions something offhand. The way she lights up talking about a place she's always wanted to visit. The kind of man who files that away. Thinks about it. Decides to make it happen. He wasn't wealthy. A dream vacation, the real kind, wasn't something their regular income could absorb easily. So he decided to earn it separately. He got a second job as a pizza delivery driver. Nights and weekends, no big announcement. He told her he was picking up extra shifts at his regular job, or seeing friends, or whatever small lie covered the hours. He wanted it to be a surprise. He wanted to hand her a printed itinerary one morning and watch her face. He worked that job for 6 months. 6 months of driving unfamiliar streets, double-stacked orders and cold nights, and the smell of cardboard boxes and oregano. 6 months of being tired in a way he couldn't fully explain to her without giving it away. 6 months of putting money aside, building toward something, building toward her. It was a regular night. Or it started as one. He clocked in, loaded up orders, did his routes, the usual rhythm, pizza place to car, car to address, knock, handoff, tip, back to car, next order. At some point during his shift, a new order came in. A motel. Nothing unusual about that. Motels ordered pizza. He'd delivered to plenty. You knock, you hand it off, you go. He drove to the address, parked, got the order, walked to the room number, knocked. The door opened. A man answered. Someone he didn't immediately recognize. Someone in a motel room, reaching for a pizza box. Normal, ordinary, the same transaction he'd done 100 times. Except, his wife was standing behind him. I want to stay here for a second, because there is no good version of this moment. There is no version where the next few seconds are anything other than total destruction. He has been working in secret for 6 months. For her, for the look on her face when he surprises her. For the vacation she always wanted. For the version of their marriage that he believed in and was building toward. And he is standing in a motel parking lot, holding a pizza box, looking at his wife through an open door. With another man, we don't know exactly what was said. The person who shared this story wasn't there. What we know is what happened immediately after. He did not go inside. He did not yell. He did not make a scene in a motel parking lot. He handed over the pizza. He walked back to his car. He drove back to the pizza place. He quit on the spot. He went home, packed his things, and left. By morning, he was gone. Let me lay out the full weight of what happened here, because I think it takes a moment to truly absorb. He took a second job to pay for her dream vacation. She didn't know about the job. She didn't know about the vacation. She didn't know he was out there, tired, night after night, earning something he planned to give her. And she used those nights, the nights he was supposedly working late, the nights she had to herself. She used those nights to be in a motel room with another man, while he was delivering pizza. While he was, possibly, we'll never know, and that's the cruelest part. Possibly delivering pizza in that same town, on that same stretch of road, close enough that the timing might have lined up a dozen times before this one. He was working toward a future with her. She was already living a different one, and the only reason he ever found out, the only reason the secret cracked open, is because of the randomness of a delivery route, because of an algorithm that assigns orders to drivers based on proximity, because of pure, terrible, unavoidable chance. If the order had gone to any other driver that night, he might never have known. She might have come home eventually. The motel room might have been quietly forgotten. The vacation fund might have grown. He might have handed her that itinerary one morning, watched her smile, taken her on the trip she always dreamed about, not knowing. Which version of that life is worse? I've thought about it, and I genuinely cannot decide. I want to talk about what the second job actually means in this story. When someone takes on extra work, real work, physical work, the kind that leaves you tired in your bones, for someone they love, without being asked, without expectation of credit, as a pure act of wanting to make something beautiful for another person. That is love in its most concrete form. Not the feeling of love, not the declaration of love, the action of it, the sacrifice of it. Hours and energy and cold nights, all quietly dedicated to one person's happiness. He didn't talk about it. He didn't hint at it. He didn't fish for appreciation. He just did it. Quietly, in secret. The way the best kind of love often works, and she took the nights his absence created, and she filled them with someone else. That's what breaks people about this story. Not the cheating, as devastating as that is, but the specific, precise symmetry of it. He was keeping a secret to give her something. She was keeping a secret to take something. Two secrets, running parallel for 6 months. His, a vacation fund. Hers, a motel room. Same nights, different choices, entirely different people. I keep thinking about the walk back to the car, from the motel room door to the parking lot. Maybe 20, 30 steps. Less than a minute of walking. The pizza box gone and nothing in his hands, and the night air and whatever was playing on the radio from other rooms. 20 steps to process 6 months of love and 6 months of lies and the complete, absolute collapse of what he thought his life was. 20 steps to go from the man who was building a surprise to the man who just delivered it to the wrong door. He didn't throw anything. He didn't shout. He walked back to his car, got in, drove to the pizza place, turned in his delivery bag, said he was done. That restraint, that silence, that choice to not explode, but to simply leave. There's something in it that I find both heartbreaking and quietly dignified. He didn't need to make a scene. The scene had already happened. Everything he needed to know, he now knew. And he left. Not just the job, the whole thing. By morning, he was gone. I've wondered about the money. 6 months of a second job, saved carefully. For her, for a trip she described and dreamed about and never knew was being quietly funded on the other side of her secret. What happened to it? He left. He packed his things and was gone by morning. He didn't take her to the airport. He didn't hand her an itinerary. Did he keep it? Did he spend it on a new city, a new apartment, a new start? Did he take the trip alone? We don't know, but I hope he spent it on himself. I hope every dollar of that money, earned in cold parking lots and late hours and the smell of cardboard boxes, I hope it went to something that was only his. Something she never got to touch. The person who shared this story heard it from a comic book shop owner. The man had disappeared for a few months. When he came back, the owner asked where he'd been. He said he'd been going through a divorce, had to move. The owner asked what happened, and the man told him. The pizza, the motel, the door, the walk back to the car. He told it simply, the way people tell things when enough time has passed, that the sharpest edges have been worn down a little. Not healed. You don't fully heal from something like this, but worn down enough to say out loud without breaking. And eventually it found its way to the internet, where it became one of those stories that spreads not because of spectacle, but because of truth, because of the way it captures something about love and secrecy and the random cruelty of timing. Everybody who hears it immediately knows exactly why it's devastating. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to set up the context. A man was saving up for his wife's dream vacation by delivering pizza at night. He delivered to the motel where she was cheating on him. That's it. That's the whole terrible poem of it. This story does something to people. It makes you think about parallel lives, about how many things can be happening simultaneously, in the same house, between the same two people, that are completely unknown to the other. He was building something, she was dismantling something, and neither of them knew what the other was doing. And there's something in that, in the idea that two people sharing a life can be living such entirely different versions of it, that is genuinely frightening. Not frightening like a horror movie, frightening like the truth, because it's not dramatic, it's not loud, it doesn't announce itself, it just happens. In the margins of ordinary days, in the spaces between one person leaving and another arriving. And sometimes the only thing that closes the gap between those two parallel lives is a delivery route, a random algorithm, a knock on a motel room door. He never got to give her the trip. But I think in the end, she gave him something more valuable. The truth, even if it cost him everything to receive it.